Jason Verrett. Is Sunday an opportunity to get him some?
Yeah, it was. He was going to play a lot. Yesterday, landed on his shoulder, and he has to get rotator cuff surgery. So, yeah, it was. I mean, we all know he tore his ACL in Detroit week 1 on that turf. Took about a year and a half to get back from it. Then got his Achilles just on air last year on the field, and he was practicing his butt off all week. We were going to play him a lot in this game. He's been awesome here this last month. And he jumped up for a ball and just came down on his shoulder in an awkward position. So it was, it happens to a lot of guys. So it was just it's crushing for him, but it's also a shoulder injury. It wasn't like a knee or a leg, but you do have to get surgery for that stuff. So he found that out this morning.
Was there an indication when he went down that it was potentially serious? Or
Yeah, because it looked like it was. So we all just held our breath and hoped, but he popped up so fast because he was hoping it wouldn't and kind of moved his arm, and then he just kept practicing and going. And so we just assumed that, all right, maybe it just hurt him a little bit, but it's not too bad of an injury. He looked great in practice, but he was holding his arm a little bit, and we said we might need to go get an MRI. He was hoping not to, so he's like, no, I think I'm good. And he slept on it, came in this morning, and it was still hurting, so we got the MRI and showed he had a tear and needed surgery. So,
What kind of recovery time is that?
I think they usually say, Brandon's going to hold me to everything, but I think they usually say 6 months, but I think it's usually like 4 or 5, so.
Well, I assume his spirits weren't real good out.
No, I mean, I talked, I mean, we let him know, right, and so we talked to him right when it happened, so, I mean, he handles it like he does everything, very, like a man, but I mean, I know how it is. He's going to be pretty down for a little bit, and I hope he hangs around here because we all love him around here. I think that could help him, and this will pass like it always does. And he had a long road to get back to this point, and I just told him I can't believe how good he's looked. Didn't think it would ever be possible to come back from what he has, which all the knees and the Achilles and everything, and he did. And he looked great in Houston. He looked great here. It was a perfect opportunity for him to play this week just so he could play a lot and see how he was going into the playoffs. And he got a random shoulder injury, and just try to put in perspective for him. It's not like you got your knee again. It's not like you got your Achilles or anything. That's something you can't come back from, but I don't think that's stuff on his mind right now.
Have you made a final decision about whether Trent Williams will play in this game?
Yeah, he's playing. Yeah.
It seems like you have your inactives already set.
Yep.
By that. Okay.
Yeah, we got 7 guys that Brock's the only one that could play who isn't, and he can be up in an emergency, but those are 7 guys. Got 2 guys up off practice squad, and it is going to be a challenge with some of those guys. It's not like I want Trent and a number of people out there for a while, so we got to balance it out right, but those guys got to get their minds right, ready to play.
Has Juwan Jennings cleared through protocol?
Who's that?
Has Juwan Jennings cleared through protocol? Now it's just a decision?
No, he's got another step. Yeah.
Jalen Moore has. That's
Yes, Jalen Moore has.
One more. Well, at least one more.
No, go ahead.
Your practice squad, 16 guys, a lot of veteran guys. I know you always reward them on a Friday, but what have you just seen from the level of commitment of how those guys practice, and even going back a couple of weeks ago to Curtis Robinson, who could have left but decided to stay here? What does that mean to you, and how much do they kind of share in the successes of the team?
So much. I hate even the title of practice squad because it sounds like you're just like a walk-on or something, and it couldn't be any more the opposite. I mean, practice squads have that title because they're not on the 53-man roster, and we get 2 up and we have to cut someone to not do that. But there's a part of this team is anyone. That's why they travel with us. That's why they're on the field. That's why they do everything. We only can get 2 of them up on game day. But that's if you don't have the right people on practice squad, it's really tough to be successful throughout the year. You need people on practice squad to develop them because there's nowhere else to develop people. But you also need people on practice squad are ready to play because in this league there's very rarely 3s, and people get injured a lot. And you put some guys you're just trying to develop in these situations, and it's too much to put on those guys. So being able to mix that with vets and rookies, those guys are a huge part of our team.
You have a guy like Robinson who has a chance. Do you try to convince him, or is that just that's on you, pal?
No, you always want to convince guys to stay, but you also you got to be able to, for me to sell anything, it's got to be right. That's why I would probably be horrible at recruiting unless it was a great situation. I think I'd be good at it. But no, those guys, I mean, it depends what these guys' goals are. I mean, sometimes you got to get in a cured season for insurance purposes and stuff like that, which you got to be on the 53, so that's a big deal. But you try to talk to young guys, it's just, if that's your only goal, I mean, that's not a great goal. Like your goal should be to make it in this league. And so you want to be places where you can kind of hide a little bit till you're ready, if that's going to happen. So that's sometimes what I sell to people. And then when you hear, I just read Curtis's quote. I didn't know about that. I never had to talk to Curtis because he decided on his own. Like we didn't talk to him at all. And for a guy like that, I mean, it shows he's been around here for a little bit. He's been awesome for us. He's been on our team before, which he's always on our team, but he's been on the 53 too. And for him to say that quote that he did, just the reasons he wants to stay, that's stuff we say a lot on this team right now. Everyone cares about themselves and their family. I mean, you always put that first usually, unless you're really abnormal. You got Pro Bowls and all that stuff coming out, but like when you're going runs like this and you're in these type of situations, it's just so much more about everybody else than one person. And when you have guys like Curtis who feel that way, who aren't exactly on the 53, it just shows you that he's an awesome dude, and for him to recognize the group he's around is real cool too.
You decided on Colton McKivitz to be your right tackle without pursuing a free agent. As you know, the 3-sack first game everybody talked about, but he wound up playing more snaps than anybody on your team. But is he what you expected, more than what you expected? How would you assess him?
I mean, he's what we expected. I mean, he's played like a really good right tackle, and if we didn't think he was going to be a really good right tackle, we would have gone and tried to get someone we thought would be a really good right tackle. He's really earned our trust here. When he got to play last year, when Mike was down, we thought he played at a very high level. And when you get to see guys do that in practice and then carry it over to the field, it doesn't make the guesswork that hard. And that's how it was with Brock Purdy the year before. I mean, there's nothing you need to see. You saw it all. Like, are they made of the right stuff? Can they continue to do it? And that stuff's huge. I know that first game, I mean, you get sacks, and that's going to be what jumps out. But, I mean, half of those are my fault. I mean, can't call some of those passes and put him on T.J. Watt at that time in the game. But Colton will never say that. Colton battles and, worry about any of that stuff. And I think he's become one of the more confident players on our team. And I think it shows over in the games. For this week, Armstead will be out, McCaffrey out, Ross Dwelly out, Ambry Thomas out, Kip will be out, Jair is out, Feliciano's questionable, Juwan Jennings questionable, Ray and Danny are questionable. Go ahead.
I'm sorry, did you say Thomas, Ambry Thomas?
Yes.
In which category?
Out.
How is Ray coming along, and where do you make the decision on when to bring him up?
It's a technicality, but we've already made the decision. He'll be out. Yeah.
You have to make a corresponding move?
Yes.
Has that been done?
We haven't told the person yet, so